and welcome to Gosport for the English Grand Prix of the Sea, round 3 of the 2016 P1 SuperStock Championship. Stokes Bay is the venue once again for a weekend of family fun and to have the best seats in the house to watch all of the racing action. The teams and racers have travelled from the far north to the far south since last time out in Greenock, Scotland, which was a weekend of two halves, as Shelley Jory-Lee reminds us now.
Well, the first ever P1 Scottish Grand Prix of the Sea was a huge success. It drew in the biggest crowds we've ever seen, and on the Saturday they were bathed in glorious sunshine. But on the Sunday it was a whole different story. The Scottish weather was not enough to dampen the spirits of the fans or discourage the racers, and by the podiums on Sunday, it was Sam and Daisy Coleman of Pertemps Network who were the overall victors. Ahead of experienced Kissimmee in second, and then Quantum Racing and Spirit Vim for Clyde in joint third place. This now means that Sam and Daisy, in their debut season together in the P1 Superstock Championships, are 21 points ahead of Quantum Racing. But with 80 points to play for this weekend, it's not over yet. Sam, you're top of the championships. Did you actually think you were going to be there at this stage?
I don't know. We were quietly confident that we'd be competitive before the season started. To have a bit of a healthy lead at the moment is a surprise, but it's nice to be up there, and it's strange being the hunted rather than the hunter now. But
Daisy, top of the championships. You've been here before at this stage of the game with John. What are your thoughts?
Well, tactics this weekend, Shelley. Obviously, Gosport last year was a little bit rough. It's, completely different conditions to what we have in Scarborough because you can't actually read it so much. It's so sporadic. The wave height's probably about 1 metre, so it's not as big as what we've seen before, but it's just hard to read because there's great big holes from the swell, and I think this weekend we're just going to have to preserve the boat and just make sure we just maintain a decent point standing after the weekend.
Vin, 2015 Gosport Grand Prix was your first ever podium in racing.
It was, yeah, very special to me. It was a really rough weekend, as you know. It's my rookie season. It's only like my second race or third race into the season, and got a podium spot. So Gosport's pretty special to me.
Well, the team is obviously doing so well this year. You are right up there. You're one of the main competitors, running second in the championship. Conditions out there tough. What do you think today?
It's not too bad, actually. I was kind of expecting it to be exactly like this, so it's nothing unusual. Gosport waters can be challenging, with the Isle of Wight and 3 different sort of wave patterns coming in. The conditions can change dramatically overnight. But I think we've seen the worst this year in Scotland and Scarborough, so hopefully today will be much better racing.
It's a local race for us. It's the Solent chop. As we know from last year, it battered a few boats. We're going to have to play it a little bit safe, but we need some points to make up this weekend, so we're still going to have to push a little bit harder and hope everything holds together.
Glyn, third place in the championships. The pressure is on.
Yeah, the pressure is certainly definitely on. Coming up to this weekend, we were arm in arm in what our tactics was going to be. We've got one boat that's only 2 points behind us, so we've got to play it really cool, and definitely this weekend is maintaining what we've got. With the weather, it's getting choppy out there, the wind's picking up, so we've just got to look after what we've got and be as consistent, but we ain't giving in.
Lee, good luck today. For a navigator, are you just going to be looking for those competitors who are chasing you down?
Yeah, it's going to be a bit tough on the back today, I think, with what we're looking at conditions. But yeah, looking for Kissimmee, making sure we can try and guard our position. The same with Taifu again. We know the guys are probably a little bit disappointed after Scotland and probably raring to go and pick up points.
Another team looking to do well this weekend are experienced Kissimmee, racing in front of their American sponsors. DT, great to see you here. How important was it for you to get involved in the UK racing scene?
Well, the UK is our #1 long-haul market for tourism, so we really are looking for unique ways to get that name and brand out there, and we felt this was a perfect way to do that because of the race that we have in Kissimmee and because of a lot of the water activities that we have. We just thought it was a great opportunity, and it's a great organization and a great sport to be working with.
Have you been lucky enough to get a ride out in the boat yet today?
That's next on my list.
So I'll tell you, one of the things that's really exciting again is just to understand a little bit more about the race circuit and to see how it all operates, and again to give us even a better understanding of how we can promote racing in Florida.
So that's what the teams are thinking down at the marina, and just moments from the off here down on Stokes Bay, Shelley. They've got a lot to look forward to in terms of the weather, because boy is it windy down here.
It is windy, and as we know, this is the Solent, and it's not nice when it's windy. It's really built up just since this morning, even since practice. I think the guys have got something to see.
Yeah, since we left them at the marina to now, the wind has certainly picked up. And remember last year here on the Sunday, it was really, really rough. But let's just talk about the championship quickly. We've got 3 teams who are sitting at the top right now: Pertemps, Quantum Racing and E-Marine.
It's absolutely brilliant. Quantum Racing, we've got John Donnelly with a lot of experience, and then Pertemps. I mean, what can you say? What a fantastic duo that is.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Coming back to the conditions though, and the race, because that's what it's all about today. It is windy, it is choppy. What have these guys got to do? You know these waters well.
Well, we spoke to them earlier, and they were all saying, you know, today isn't about being first there, it's about endurance, saving the machinery, and getting points make prizes. They all said it. I'm just keen to see who actually does it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Once that flag goes down, they're off and racing. Can they hold back just to look after the boat, or are they going to be going for it?
The red mist comes down, they see the first mark, and, you know, it's just go, go, go. And it's the ones who can just hold back and just save that machinery who are going to be our champions this weekend.
Lovely, thanks Shelley. Well, let's go and see who can do exactly that. Look after the boat and make it all the way to the finish as we head out to the start for race 1.
We're at the midway point of the campaign, and this could be a make or break weekend for some of the crews. They'll be racing in an anti-clockwise direction on this oval layout, and they also have to take in the pit lap at some stage. The boats taking up their positions as they prepare to fire themselves across the Solent. It's an anxious time to get yourself lined up without losing momentum, watching for the flag as well as watching everybody else. They hold on yellow. And they go green, and there it is. We're away. The first race at Gosport is go, and already nose is heading skywards. The trick is to keep the nose flat. The horizon should not be bouncing. Spirit of Inverclyde look as if they're fairly flat, but not quite flat out. The fleet will start coming together as well. It's crucial just to get ahead at this stage as the boats start to bunch. And you can find yourself in everybody's wake if you're not on the pace, and that can be costly. Pertemps Network away well. And just listen as they leave the water. They're coming up to the first turn with Pertemps Network with their nose in front, but they're on the outside, and it could be Taifu who lead at the buoy. Pertemps Network approaching the turn, but have to be wary of what is coming up on their left. And this is where the navigator is crucial, relaying information to the driver. Quantum Racing coming up hard on their inside. It's vital they keep their distance. The outfit's all starting to close up here. It may be Quantum Racing who just have the edges. They're on the inside of Pertemps Network. However, hit a wave, lose momentum, and everything can change in an instant. It's certainly those two boats who've pushed ahead of everyone else. Quantum just seem to have their nose in the air slightly more than Pertemps Network. Looking back from Pertemps Network at Quantum, the water is choppy, and expect to see some of the Panthers leave the water. Now this is where inside advantage can help Quantum as they make the turn, but Pertemps may be able to keep their speed higher and get good drive on the exit. Pertemps Network with good speed as expected, but will they lose out? They're pushing hard, but it looks as if Rawbank out of picture will lead. It is Rawbank who went tight who are in front. And Spirit of Inverclyde also looking menacing. They're third, just behind Quantum. Both outfits coming up quickly on Rawbank. What a superb start to this race. The view from Spirit of Inverclyde. And Rawbank have a problem. They're being left behind by Quantum, who take over the lead. Dino Zavaroni and Gordon Wicklow of Spirit of Inverclyde looking to replicate what John Donnelly and Kevin Burdock have just done. Pickford's and E. Marine squabbling over fourth, and it could be all change again as they round this next turn. Glynn and Lee Norval of E. Marine will be thinking of just staying with the leading trio at this moment, not too concerned about Pickford's. E. Marine looking for the gap and taking it. So they're fourth. Pickford's are in fifth. Aaron Scott deputising for the injured Stuart Cureton this weekend. Sarah Cureton is still in the navigator's chair, but they have an issue. What a shame for Rawbank Racing. They'd started so well. We're riding with the experienced Kissimmee boat, Neil and Jason Jackson. They have their American backers here this weekend, so they are keen to impress. Meanwhile, Rawbank on their way again, but now it's just a point-scoring exercise for them. They're still ahead of experienced Kissimmee and Taifu. So Quantum Racing continue to set the pace, grabbing air and then shooting forward as the blades make contact with the water. E. Marine second, with Spirit of Inverclyde third, and Potemps Network in a close fourth place. They lead the championship, and they're leading Pickford's, having passed them. So that's the top five. David Atuz Hobson and Martin Robinson in Pickford's Racing. Looking at Toos Hobson and Robinson as they're shaken about. The Solent living up to its reputation. Those lining the water's edge, the thousands of spectators here today enjoying the spectacle that is P1 powerboat racing. This is a good push by E. Marine. They've worked their way toward the front and looking to leave behind Spirit of Inverclyde if they can. While everyone squabbles away, Quantum Racing continues seemingly unchallenged. If things stay as they are, then it will tighten things up at the top of the standings, but there's a long way to go just yet. The crews have to factor in a pit lap, which they take just once during the course of the race. Pickford's Racing still trailing the leaders. They've got Potemps Network just ahead of them, but the gap between the two boats remains roughly the same. Rawbank Racing still going despite their momentary blip earlier. Kevin Burdock and John Donnelly still with the best view of all, and that is with no one in front of them. Rawbank still pushing on. Aaron Scott and Sarah Cureton. She and husband Stuart had that spectacular crash at the previous round in Greenock, which forced him to sit this one out while he recovers. Another strong showing from Spirit of Inverclyde, who are carrying on where they left off in the previous round in Scotland. Dino Zavaroni and Gordon Wicklow are no strangers to racing on water, but this year is their first racing P1 Panthers. They really seem to be getting their eye in now and appear to be getting stronger and more confident with each race. At times, the crews are grabbing the air quite spectacularly as they power across the surface of the Solent, and they really do soar, one of the finest sights of any motorsport event on the planet. Experienced Kissimmee providing a perfect example of how choppy conditions are as Neil and Jason Jackson bounce up and down in their seats. The speed as they skim the surface is incredible. No joy for South Street in this one. They've been struck by some sort of issue. Experienced Kissimmee just behind Spirit of Inverclyde, who will go tight into the next turn. The Jacksons taking the wide line, but carrying speed which they hope will propel them past their rivals, who may have had to slow to get around the boys safely. We'll find out in a moment. whether that tactic has proved successful. It hasn't. Experienced Kissimmee will have to settle for second. It's history in the making. It's a first ever P1 victory for Dino Zavaroni and Gordon Wicklow as Spirit of Inverclyde take the checkered flag. What a result and what a performance from the rookies here at Gosport today. Quite remarkable. This is how it finishes then, with Experienced Kissimmee and Spirit of Inverclyde with the top 2 places, and a good result too for E-Marine Racing.
Well, certainly tricky conditions here in Gosport, but it was Dino and Gordon in Spirit of Inverclyde who made the best of it. And what about Experienced Kissimmee? A second place for them. A Floridian-based boat doing well here in the English sunshine. Join us after the break when we'll be back for race 2. Welcome back to Gosport, where after the first race, it's Spirit of Inverclyde who are leading the way, with 3 more still to go across the weekend. And while the racers and teams are getting set and ready for the next one, the fans who have lined the beach here in Stokes Bay are getting entertained both on and off the water, including getting a sneak peek at the next generation of powerboat racing to be launched as part of the P1 schedule in 2017. So Rob, tell us about the rib that's behind you.
Well, this is a 7.5 metre powerboat P1 Puma rib, as we're calling them. And this is designed really to bridge the gap, really, if you like, between our P1 Aquacross racing and our P1 Superstock race classes, to give people who are relatively new to the world of powerboat racing the opportunity to get into something that's a versatile craft, that's a predictable hull, a safe boat to race. The boat's been in design and development for the last year. It runs at 60 odd miles an hour. We're going to be bringing them to race events for the next couple of weeks as our season continues through 2016, and then looking to launch the series in 2017.
Well, it certainly looks like there's a lot to look forward to in 2017. Now, though, back to 2016, and let's head out to the start line for race 2 with your commentator, Dave Moore.
The Solent looking deceptively calm. An inshore wind plus the tides and currents are something for the crews to factor in. Everyone getting into position, the likes of Quantum and Rawbank Racing hoping for better results this time. Neil and Jason Jackson would like a repeat, if not better, than the second place they secured in race 1. Boats are forming the start line, and once everyone is in position, the starter's yellow flag will go to green. Daisy Coleman standing up, the only navigator to do so. So vital not to miss the flag change. A quick glance away could prove so costly, but it's waved now. And we're underway for the second race of the P1 English Grand Prix of the Sea. Quantum Racing looking strong. So too is Spirit of Inverclyde. But it's a long push to the first turn. Those on the outside of the pack doubly keen to get to the turn first. Glenn and Lee Norval of E-Marine Racing, one of those with an inside berth, but it doesn't look as if they're away too quickly. Powerboat racing can prove deceptive, and although it may look as if someone is in front of another crew, it could actually be the other way around. John Donnelly of Quantum Racing gets a mouthful of Solent, courtesy of Experienced Kissimmee. We have the makings of a breakaway group at the front, it would seem. That's a big one from Pertemps Network. Slams them down hard on the surface of the Solent. It may just allow Experienced Kissimmee to go past, but they too are finding it hard to keep their Panther flat. It's between these two for the lead of the race. Pertemps Network have the advantage of the inside line as they come to the next buoy. No matter how much Experienced Kissimmee want to turn in, they can't, because the water they're looking to occupy is already occupied by Pertemps Network. Meanwhile, we're riding with the team in third, Spirit of Inverclyde. Having struck their first P1 win, they want another, and quickly. Talking of quick, that's exactly what Sam and Daisy Coleman of Pertemps Network are. They squared off that previous turn, and they are mega keen to get back to winning ways. Neil and Jason Jackson, a surprise result from them perhaps in race one, but looking to prove it was no fluke. Experienced Kiss Me still in second and quite happy to stay on the outside of Pertemps Network, while Spirit of Inverclyde zooming up along the inside in third place. That may work to their advantage. The big news is, though, the rookies are setting the pace again. Pertemps Network navigator Daisy Coleman, the only one of these three crews with plenty of P1 experience. It looks to the naked eye as if Spirit of Inverclyde are gaining on the front two. And power around the turn. It's two turns close together, two approaches, squaring off each turn or taking both in one big fast arc. Spirit of Inverclyde electing to power past each boy as quickly as possible. Still no changes in position, but once they get onto the next straight, we should get a clearer indication as to the gap between each boat. Pertemps Network keeping it tight, but Experienced Kissimmee are not that far behind. Still on the air outside, but carrying tons of speed. And I think the Colemans may just be feeling the pressure. Experienced Kissimmee have yet to win a P1 Superstock Championship race, but this is undoubtedly their strongest showing so far. They're really hounding the race leaders. And they're not just the race leaders, of course. Pertemps Network currently hold the #1 spot in the overall championship standings. And even though they're under pressure on the water, it's not from any of the title rivals, so they won't be too unperturbed at the moment. I'm fairly sure, though, they're not even thinking about that right now. They'll be thinking about the job in hand and nothing else. Amazing to see the Panthers leave the water at speed. That is Spirit of Inverclyde. And that is Gordon Wicklow with his hand in the air. They're not slowing. So a mystery as to what's going on there. We're on board and looking at Experienced Kissimmee and Pertemps Network up ahead. Quantum Racing, again, not as close to the front as they'd like to be. Glenn and Lee Norval of E-Marine Racing. They'd like to be a bit closer to the front as well. Looking back at Spirit of Inverclyde and hands firmly on the wheel and closing on Pertemps Network. It looks like they've decided to take their pit lap. And that is it for Quantum Racing. Something's not quite right. They are going nowhere. E-Marine Racing going past the stricken John Donnelly and Kevin Burdock. The marshals quickly on the scene. This, of course, is very good news for Pertemps Network and their title challenge, with one of their rivals being struck down by misfortune. It is E-Marine Racing, Glyn and Lee Norval, two brothers following their father Doug, who was also a powerboat racer. So the sea is definitely in the family. Lee raced in P1 last year, but is joined by his brother for this campaign. There are the new race leaders. They've never won a P1 Superstock Championship race before, and if they're going to do it, then this is the perfect weekend for them, as their backers from Florida are here to support them. But they are not yet there, though, are they? But what a result this would be, should they keep it all together. So Experienced Kissimmee then, second in race one, look to go one better this time. What a day it's been for the Jacksons. On board with South Street, and great to see Ian Brusby back in the P1 Superstock Championship as he returns to the series this year. It's not been the best of days for Rawbank Racing. They've got Taifu just behind and looking to draw up alongside. Well, they're getting the hang of this. Spirit of Inverclyde with another strong performance following their race 1 exploits. Conditions look to have calmed a little compared to those from race 1. And as I say that, Spirit of Inverclyde goes skyward again. Checkered flag at the ready, and here we go for Experience Kissimmee. And an experience the Jacksons will never forget. Their first ever P1 Superstock Championship win. What a performance, and it's rookies yet again at Gosport. So this is how the second race at Gosport finishes, and it's one that looks very sweet for Experience Kissimmee.
An amazing race out there. Tell us all about it.
I had to put a lot of experience into that.
So would you say it purely won out there today from just years of experience?
To win the second race, pure experience and ability to drive in those conditions. At what mechanical cost, we don't know yet. We're going to lift it out and find out. But yeah, I put everything into that to show that, yes, you can do this, and I'm pleased with our result, massively so.
Jason, I think that was a tough race for a navigator out there. A lot was going on.
Yeah, it was. Start run was incredible. First race, we knocked the engine out, we over-revved, so we had to stop and start again and then claw our way back. It was chaos, but just, yeah.
So there we go, 2 great races here in Gosport on the opening day, Shelley, but we're feeling a little bit windswept, and if we are, I don't know what the teams are feeling like right now.
They are feeling windswept, battered, bruised. I think the teams that have got boats still in one pieces are just happy. But what a great race. I mean, it was so lovely to see Kissimmee and Inverclyde back up there at the top. Different boats battling it out for first and second. Yeah, brilliant stuff. It's certainly mixed up the overall points championship standings. And you've already had a look at the weather for tomorrow? Yes, really, unfortunately, much the same as today. I think the racers are praying for a little bit of flat and calm that we saw in, up in Scotland, but it's not going to happen. No. It's not going to happen. But one thing that is going to happen is when we come back on the other side of this, we'll be bringing you all the action and 2 more great races. So we'll see you in 2. Welcome back to day 2 here in Gosport for the 2016 English Grand Prix of the Seas, where we've woken up to a slight change in the weather to yesterday. Shelley, you know this part of the world well. Is this normal for a Sunday in July? Yes. Okay. Yes, I'm afraid that the mist and the fog does roll in quite a lot here. Sometimes we're very sheltered by the Isle of Wight, but not today. Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen this, but the rain is actually coming down sideways. Overnight, though, a slight change in the results. E-Marine got promoted to first for a kind of indiscretion going around one of the marker boys. I think a 30-second penalty, Shelley. Yeah, I think there was a splitter boy, and I think it was Kissimmee and Inverclyde who obviously went the wrong way of that mark, and they were penalised for it for race rules. So well done to E-Marine. Yes, well done indeed. And what it means is in terms of the points going in today, Experience Kissimmee now on 35, but only just behind them on joint 34 points are E-Marine Racing and Spirit of Inverclyde. 2 races to go then today, and it certainly is all to play for. Glyn, great to see you this morning. Here we are, and overnight, slight change in the points that's favoured you. I know, yeah. It's a bit of fantastic news for us. Somebody picked up some penalty points due to them missing a buoy, which we didn't find out until very late last night. So that's pushed us from second to first. So, yeah, it's a good result, definitely, without a doubt.
You know, it's all part of the racing. It's the splitter buoy. You can lose your 30 seconds there. A couple of guys lost it on the first race, which gave us uplift to our first position. Then again, on the second race, we missed the marker buoy and we got a 30-second penalty. So, yeah, it's all about being out there and racing for it, really.
And as we stand here in the harbour now at Gosport, the marina, it looks nice and flat and calm, and the rain stopped and it looks like a lovely day, but it's not going to be the case out there, is it? No, round the corner it is a real chop up, and it's over a metre waves, well 1 to 1.5 metre waves, so it's going to be very challenging for the boat and for us. Gordon, great to see you this morning. Slight change in the results overnight, and it was all to do with the marker buoy.
Yes, we just didn't see it, and we actually took a slightly longer line, but it's not in the rules, so we got a 30-second penalty, and that moved us down to second place for that race.
34 points though, and you're sharing that with E-Marine Racing. Experience Kissimmee on 35, so it's still pretty tight at the top.
Very, very tight indeed. Makes it all to play for today. And considering we're pretty new at this, so we're pleased, and we'll see what we can do today.
So there's plenty to look forward to as far as P1 SuperStock is concerned. But don't forget, these weekends aren't just about racing boats, they're also about racing jet skis. And in the Pro Enduro class, things are really hotting up. But the racing here on the Solent this weekend is going to require a whole lot of power and stamina. And one man who's stacked with both is championship contender number 200, Phil Pope. Phil. Hello, mate. How you doing? Quick word with you about yesterday. You had a good day by the looks of it.
Yeah, great. Two starts, 2 wins. It's always good.
And then one more to go this afternoon, and it's going to be 3 from 3.
I hope so. But then they've made the course smaller, so that suits me a little bit better, I hope. So yeah, hopefully 3 out of 3.
Chris, you're running towards the front of the pack yesterday, but Phil had it all his own way.
Yeah, Phil was amazing. He was on a mission, I think. He was doing really well. To be fair, I'll give it the all. I couldn't get no more out of the boat, so it is what it is. But still got today's race. You know, anything can happen. People fall off, don't they? So it's not all lost yet, but fingers crossed for today.
And today would go the way of Phil Pope. He was absolutely outstanding in the P1 Aquacross Championship here at Gosport.
Now that's how you do it, guys.
So a nice calm departure from the marina here in Gosport, but as the teams head out into the Solent, the run to the start for this next one is likely to be anything but. Let's go join your race commentator, Dave Moore.
So the conditions very similar to what they were yesterday, or so it would seem here on the Solent. The Panthers speeding up. Again, Daisy Coleman electing to stand up to see what's going on. So Sam and Daisy Coleman of Pertemps Network looking for a race win. We're on board with Quantum Racing. Kevin Burdock and John Donnelly, they've not had the best of luck so far. They're looking for a change around in fortune. So it's Quantum and Pertemps Network we're looking at right now, powering their way across the surface. Very determined from Quantum, keeping their boat flat. This is the view from Pertemps Network. Sam and Daisy Coleman as they go around the turn, just keeping out of the wake of Quantum Racing. You can see Pertemps Network can keep their speed up a bit more. Quantum can't afford to go too fast and try and turn, but everyone else following around, Spirit of Inverclyde, well, they've got plenty to do after the results were changed from yesterday. South Street looking good this time. Ian Brusby. So South Street off to a good start. This is who we're on board with. The Thames Network and Quantum Racing just ahead. Again, they're still getting chucked around. That is Spirit of Inverclyde taking their pit lap perhaps, or are they coming to a stop? They're going very slow. That could be it from Spirit of Inverclyde. Thames Network having moved to the inside, trying to power their way to the front. It's between Pertemps Network and Quantum Racing again. Difficult for Daisy Coleman to look to her right and see past her brother Sam. They're getting very, very close to one another. But Quantum Racing will know that Pertemps Network are there. That is Spirit of Inverclyde. It's not been their weekend when it looked as if it would be. Taifu right behind E-Marine Racing. So Kevin Hunt and Carl Turner of Taifu, E-Marine in their sights. Experience Kissimmee going through. So Experience Kissimmee having, well, already they've had their best weekend in P1 so far, and they've still got this race and another race to go. Neil and Jason Jackson with differing visors, one with a dark visor, one with a clear visor. Rollback Racing, another crew that are looking to put the disappointment of yesterday behind them. Again, it's amazing how rapid these boats go across the water. Really get a sense of speed. So South Street, just not quite at the top speed, and signals there for Ian Brusby. Coming up to the turn, both outfits keeping their distance, but they'll draw closer to one another as they go around the buoy, and it's South Street that yield. Kevin Hunt and Carl Turner working hard away in Typhoon. Amazing to see the P1 Panthers skimming across the surface. Well, here go Potemps Network and Experience Kissimmee. What a move that was from them. That was really tight and trying to keep the power on. A risky move, but they're doing everything they can to try and stay with these two, Sam and Daisy Coleman in Potemps Network. There they go. It's a victory for Potemps Network. They take the checkered flag. They win race 3. So this is how the third result of the weekend goes. Experience Kissimmee in second, but a win for the leaders, Potemps Network.
Well, a fantastic drive from Sam and Daisy there in Potemps Network. Gives them the win, but Experience Kissimmee, well, they weren't that far behind. With one more to go here in Gosport, it's certainly looking for a great finale. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back to Gosport for the final instalment of action from the 2016 English Grand Prix of the Sea. There's one more to go here, and after a brilliant drive in race 3, Sam and Daisy Coleman have put themselves in the box seat to take the top step of the podium. But they've got the experience of Experience Kissimmee chasing them down hard. Let's see what happens as we head out to the start line with Dave Moore.
So the fourth and final time this weekend, the P1 Panthers are already... They're about to roar across the surface of the Solent. Once that yellow flag is lowered and the green flag is raised, it could be any moment now. They're just keeping an eye on it. It's still yellow. Rollback Racing, Aaron Scott and Sarah Curitan, and the green flag is raised. So away we go then. Rollback Racing really could do with a good result in this one. Experience Kissimmee on the inside. Potemps Network just slotting in behind by the looks of things. So Rollback Racing already ahead of Potemps Network. Potemps Network are looking to fight back though. So Rollback Racing leading. Spirit of Inverclyde trying to get ahead of Typhoon as well. Quantum Racing are out on the right-hand side almost of the starting grid. Potemps Network just behind Rollback still. It's between those two as to who will get to the first turn first. Rollback Racing really need a good result in this one. That's Experience Kissimmee, Neil and Jason Jackson going past somebody. And here are our race leaders, but will they be leading by the time they get to the back part of the circuit? So it's Rollback from Potemps Network. E-Marine Racing, Spirit of Inverclyde, Quantum are there as well. Just watch the two boats on the left-hand side of the picture. Spirit of Inverclyde, one of those involved, and Experience Kissimmee. This is it from the view from Spirit of Inverclyde, and there is Experience Kissimmee just going past. And that's the view from inside Experience Kissimmee, Neil and Jason Jackson. Ian Brusby back in P1 It has been a great weekend's racing. Different winners in every race, even with the result changes that we've had. Quantum Racing still looking. It really is choppy on the Solent, but it's Rawbank Racing. Experienced Kissimmee are up there as well. Daisy Coleman navigating for Temps Network, looking around, relaying the information to Sam, her brother. Experienced Kissimmee coming under pressure. They've arguably been the best outfit this weekend. Spirit of Inverclyde still going, but certainly plenty of positives for them to build on for the next round. South Street just on the inside of Spirit of Inverclyde. So there you go into the boys. Spirit of Inverclyde might just try and go up the inside if they can. They both have to make sure that South Street don't tuck in as well. Rawback Racing still leading Experienced Kissimmee, who go off for their pit lap by the looks of things. They're not the only ones. Super smooth, super fast. Kevin Hunt and Cole Turner in Taifu providing the pictures. So here comes Quantum Racing. They desperately wanted a result in this one. Experienced Kissimmee. Neil and Jason Jackson still going very, very strongly. Experienced Kissimmee then. Coming up to take the checkered flag, which they do. It's victory for Neil and Jason Jackson, and that's what it means to win in P1 SuperStock. So the final race result of the weekend at the P1 English Grand Prix of the Sea at Gosport, and it's a victory for Experienced Kissimmee. This is how the championship will look going into the next round in Cardiff, and it is still looking good for the Temps Network, but a lot of points and races still to go.
You finally got it, Neil.
Well, yeah, thanks, Shelley. As I was saying, you know, we got nowhere in Scarborough really because it was a brand new boat. We hadn't even seen it before we got to that weekend, and we were driving something that was very alien to us, but we got some points. In Greenock, we managed to do a little bit better. We came second, and here we've won. So it's a kind of a stepping stone game. We're moving up the ladder.
Do you think you can make the championship, take it from here with only 2 more events?
Cardiff's going to be interesting because the boat's not the quickest in the flat, but it's heats, so it's a completely different kettle of fish. We will go out testing, as what we do. We will get the boat better set up for that type of conditions. And then Bournemouth, again, it's my playground. We reckon we can take Bournemouth.
I wasn't happy with the settings, trim settings and stuff, and I think I was over-reading the waves and trying to pick every one and beating myself up when I missed one. As we know with powerboat racing, it's not the team that makes a mistake, it's the team that makes the least mistakes, sort of thing. I had a good chat with the master John Wilson last night. He put my head back in the right place, gave me a couple of pointers, and we came out flying this morning, so I was chuffed to bits for that.
So things have finished up in the sunshine here in Gosport, and the sun, Shelley, was certainly shining on those boys from Florida.
It was amazing. I mean, great weekend for those guys. They do know these waters. They are local, but they have driven really hard and fast and got what they wanted, top of the spot.
Yeah, they take the win this weekend, but Temps Network still leading the championship. We've had 3 rounds now in 2016, and those guys have never been off the podium. They're still leading.
They are formidable. Their preparation and their planning and just their whole racing technique is absolutely second to none, and you can't take it away from them.
Brilliant stuff, lovely. Thanks for your company as always, Shelley, and thanks to you for your company. From here, the P1 Roadshow heads to Cardiff, and we'd love it if you could join us there. But for now, from all of us here in Gosport, see ya.